Hi friends, this is Mona. Welcome to Miracle Creatures channel. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel, like, comment and click the bell icon to get the latest videos. Nesting. Most birds build nests in which the eggs are laid. Nests vary widely. They may be a scrape in the sand, a deep burrow, a hole in a tree or rock, an open cup, a globular or retort-shaped mass with a side entrance tube, or an elaborately woven hanging structure. The materials with which nests are made also vary widely. Some nests are lined with small stones, and others are built of dirt or mud with or without plant material. Sticks, leaves, algae, rootlets, and other plant fibers are used alone or in combination. Some birds seek out animal materials such as feathers, horsehair, or snakeskin. The nest materials may be held together by weaving, sewing, or felting the materials themselves or with mud or spider webs. Swifts use saliva to glue nest materials together and to attach the nest to the supporting structure. In at least one species of swift, the entire nest is made of saliva and is the prized ingredient of bird's nest soup in the Orient. All birds incubate their eggs, except megapodes, mound builders, which depend on the heat generated by decaying vegetation or other external sources, and brood parasites such as cuckoos and cowbirds, which lay their eggs in the nests of other species. Moorhays and the king and emperor penguins build no nest but incubate with the egg resting on top of the feet. In most birds a brood patch on the abdomen is developed. This bare area is fluid-filled, edematous, and highly vascularized. It directly contacts the eggs during incubation. Its development during the breeding season is under hormonal control. When the parent is off the nest, adjacent feathers are directed over the brood patch, and it is usually not apparent in part on the size of the bird and the degree of development at hatching. During incubation, most songbirds and members of some other groups are hatched, nearly absent of feathers and helpless altricial, and they are brooded until well able to regulate their body temperature. They are fed by the parents even after they are capable of flight. The young of numerous other birds, such as chickens, ducks, and shorebirds, are hatched with a heavy coat of down and are capable of foraging for themselves almost immediately, precocial. Still others, such as the petrels and the auks, are downy when hatched but remain in the nest and are fed by their parents. The length of time that parents care for young birds varies widely. Young megapodes can fly shortly after hatching and are entirely independent of their parents. Young royal albatrosses may spend more than 8 months at the nest and in the area immediately around it before they can fly. The length of time needed to attain independence is related to size and condition at hatching. Round nesting birds tend to take less and hole nesting birds more time than the average. The number of eggs in a set clutch varies from 1 to about 20. Some species invariably lay the same number per clutch, determinate laying, whereas in the majority the number is variable, indeterminate laying. In species of the latter category, clutch size tends to be smaller in tropical regions than in cold ones. There is also a tendency for birds in warm regions to make more nesting attempts in a given season. In the Arctic, where the season is very short, the cycle of breeding and the moult that follows it are compressed into a minimum of time. Feeding habits. The earliest birds were probably insectivorous, as are many modern ones, and the latter have evolved many specializations for catching insects. Swifts, swallows, and nightjars have wide gapes for catching insects on the wing. Some woodpeckers can reach wood-boring grubs, whereas others can catch ants by probing anthills with their long, sticky tongues. Thrashers dig in the ground with their bills. Tree creepers and woodhewers probe bark crevice, and warblers glean insects from many kinds of vegetation. Raptorial birds, raptors and owls, have evolved talons and hooked bills for feeding on larger animals, and vultures have bare heads and tearing bills for feeding on carrion. Herons have spear-like bills and trigger mechanisms in the neck for catching fish, while kingfishers, terns, and boobies plunge into the water after similar prey. Long-billed waders probe for worms and other invertebrates. Of the many kinds of birds that feed on plant material, most use seeds, fruit, or nectar, which are high in food value. Leaves and buds are eaten by fewer species. While some kinds of birds feed entirely on a single kind of food, others may take a wide range of foods, and many have seasonal changes in diet. Molting. The contour feathers are shed and replaced, molted, at least once a year, usually just after the breeding season. In addition, many birds have at least a partial molt before the breeding season. A typical series of molts and plumages would be juvenile plumage, post-juvenile, also called first prebasic molt, first winter or first basic plumage, first prenuptial or pre-alternate molt, first nuptial or alternate plumage, first postnuptial, first annual or second prebasic molt, second winter or basic plumage, etc. Molt of the remiges and rectrices usually occurs as part of the annual molt and can be serial, from the innermost feather out, centrifugal, from the outermost in, centripetal, or simultaneous. Normally the process is symmetrical between the right and left sides. Flight, so characteristic of birds, is maintained during the molt in most species by a gradual replacement of the flight feathers. However, ducks and geese, some rails and loons, and auks shed all of their flight feathers at one time, immediately after the nesting season. Not until these feathers are replaced are the birds able to fly again. Most of these are birds that find their food by walking or swimming, as would be expected. Some ducks living in the marshes become very shy and retiring at this season, skulking in the reeds, but geese nesting in the Arctic barrens continue to walk about over the tundra, feeding. In the hornbills of Africa and Asia, only females lose the flight and tail feathers at the same time. During this time they stay in the nest until the feathers grow out again, being fed by the males. Color in birds is caused by pigments and structure. Buffs, red browns, dark browns, and blacks are caused by melanins, pigments synthesized by the bird and laid down in granules. Yellows, oranges, and reds come from carotenoid or lipochrome pigments. These originate at least in part from the food and are diffused in the skin and feathers. Porphyrin feather pigments occur in birds but less frequently than melanins and carotenoids. Blue colors in feathers are structural, based on a thin porous layer of keratin overlying melanin pigment. Most greens result from the addition of yellow pigment to the structural blue color. Iridescent colors result from the thinly laminated structure of the barbules and are enhanced by underlying melanin deposits. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel, like, comment and click the bell icon to get the latest videos. Bye friends.